Ladies and gentlemen, it is showtime. Please enjoy the show.
It's the corner where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We got to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
We are excited to announce this season, Chief Concerns is teaming up with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, to bring even more excitement to Chiefs football. Whether you're backing Mahomes to have over 4,500 passing yards, riding the over on Kelce's 4.5 touchdowns, or picking weekly same-game parlays, FanDuel has you covered with easy-to-use features, fast payouts, and tons of ways to win. So download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today and make every snap count. And don't forget to tune into our weekly Chiefs same-game parlay show every week during the regular season. Finding the right person for your team can be just like the NFL draft. You've got a huge board of prospects, but only a few are the perfect fit for your roster. Sometimes you're sifting through a lot of tape before you find that Mahomes-level candidate. But with ZipRecruiter, it's like having the best scouting department in the league. They find amazing candidates for you fast. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/audio. Here's why it works. The moment you post your job, ZipRecruiter's smart technology starts showing your role to qualified people, your first rounders. No waiting around for the right player to fall to you. And when you see someone you like, you can send them ZipRecruiter's pre-written invite to apply message. It's like handing them the playbook and saying, we want you in the lineup. So ditch the other hiring sites and let ZipRecruiter find what you're looking for, the needle in the haystack. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/audio. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of your Chief Concerns post-game show. And we're coming to you guys not often, but after a loss. Chiefs lose 27-21 to the Los Angeles Chargers in Brazil. Marcus Dash right there in the middle is our guy, former Chiefs tight end Jason Dunn, and my brother Teja Dash on the right there. So obviously a lot to take away from this game. We're going to get into all things. I'm seeing so much chatter online. Of course, after a loss, which generally happens, everyone's got a lot to say and a lot of complaints and a lot of things to talk about. So let's just kind of get right to it. So third play of this game, the Chargers deferred the second half. We get ball, third play. Xavier Worthy runs smack into Travis Kelce, and what appears to be some sort of shoulder injury. They showed Xavier Worthy go to the sideline. Looks like they put his shoulder back, but it looks like there's some kind of injury. He was ruled questionable, and then he was ruled out for the rest of the game. So I saw a lot of people dogging the receivers a little bit tonight, and kind of how the way the offense kind of flowed. I think 3 straight 3-and-outs. But JD, you can attest to this. When a guy who's so pivotal to your game plan gets hurt on the third play of the game, when all offseason you've been kind of focusing on that guy being your kind of your wide receiver one, it's tough to kind of adjust game plans in the middle of a game when a play happens like that, when an injury happens like that on the third play of the game. Just kind of talk about the aspect of how that kind of changes your whole game plan for going into a game when your guy gets hurt.
I think, really, to be honest with you, you almost have to prepare for things like that to happen. You got to be able to have a contingency plan if your main guy, the guy that you have a focus on, gets hurt. I still think we had enough guys out there to get it done. We didn't get Travis Kelce the football enough. I think Juju did a good job. Hollywood Brown started coming a little bit later on. Same thing with, Tyquan Thornton and Brown. They've got to get them guys involved. And so, you can't fall apart. This is not what this thing is. And so, when you have game plans, that's why coordinators are coordinators. They can coordinate in every game situation. It's not like, oh, man, this guy goes out. Oh, what are we going to do? That's why I say, Marcus, these guys are interchangeable. We got capable guys that can, catch the football. Remigio could go out there. Bashard Smith could go out there. I mean, you got tight ends that can, you could run, more than Noah Gray out there as well. So it's a blow to somewhat of the mental, but you also know that you got to focus on what you have to do. That's it. Bottom line. Hey, look, man, you flew all the way down to Brazil. It's not time to crumble when something like that happens. This is football. Anything can happen. And so that's the mentality you got to take, and everybody's got to step up. The question is, like I had right here, offense, the number one thing, and my keys to victory is no Rashid Rice, who steps up? Xavier Worthy's out, who steps up? And that's the question. That question has to be answered. But this is, when you look at something like this, it'll provide more answers when you had to deal with this moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like I see some people saying, "Oh, we need to go out and get a receiver." It's like, honestly, not really. Like you said, Juju played well. Hollywood Brown, I know before that last bomb he caught, like his stats were 8 for 38. So I mean, it wasn't like there wasn't a lot of extra after the catch. Tyquan Thornton caught a bomb, the biggest catch of his career as far as yardage wise. Like you said, Kelce. I mean, up until that touchdown catch, I think he had 2 targets going into that. So not a lot. There's not a lot of balls going his way, and then he had the one where I think Mahomes expected him to continue to follow, and he kind of stopped there, and we would score a touchdown there. But it just not a lot of targets to go his way, and Noah Gray didn't get a lot of love tonight either, which is surprising. Just a lot of what did you make, Teja, of the kind of the pass catchers tonight after Worthy went down?
Well, you and I were talking about this earlier. It's really interesting. I think losing a guy really depends on when you lose him, right? If you have a rhythm sustained in a game when you lose a guy, I feel like you can use the forward momentum to keep going, right? But when you lose a guy so early, there's this pause, oh shoot, that wasn't supposed to happen. You know what I mean? It's almost like you lost him warm-ups. The game was still it was no time had gone off the clock. We just lost him. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And I think they looked shelf-shocked. We looked taken aback. I know, JD, you said it shouldn't be, and they should be prepared to lose anyone at any moment. They should. But they didn't look like it. We looked very off after that. It took Hollywood and Mahomes a good 2 quarters to look on the same page. Even that play in the end with Kelce, I mean, they weren't on the same page about that. He wanted Kelce to keep going, and he just didn't. Kind of a weird stutter step in the air. It was really weird. He looked off a couple times throwing to, I think, Thornton. He overthrew him once or twice. They just weren't on the same page. I mean, was he planning on throwing to Worthy 15 times? I mean, he threw to maybe he threw to Hollywood Brown 16 times. So maybe all those targets are going to go to Worthy, and he was like, shoot, now I got to make it work. But I'm not panicking on getting receivers. I think for a let's figure it out opening minute, I think we did a pretty good job. I know Warner was kind of dogging our long ball, but we had the 3 longest receptions in the game. So we had more. I mean, as good as the Chargers passing game looked, we had the 3 longest catches. So, granted that one was a heave to Hollywood Brown, which I didn't know how you didn't score off of. But I think we're okay. I have I have other concerns.
So let me give you a pushback on it. I think you if you lose a guy early, that gives you more time to okay, now you know how to deal with it. He got an entire game now, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit different if a guy does get into the rhythm and all of a sudden it's oh, well, shoot, now he's gone. He's been catching all the daggone footballs. Hollywood Brown caught 10. He had 10 receptions. He had 10.
Yeah.
So that's, to me, and we know during all season, Hollywood Brown and Patrick Mahomes were always together. It was like that last year. He was his main guy before Xavier Worthy came in. So it was just them clicking. And I attribute a lot of this to, man, look, this is the first game of the season. We understand that. There's a lot of penalties. There's a lot of things the guys got to kind of get, a little, off kilter somewhat. So, it's a lot of that. It is. First game of the season, you just juiced up. You're ready to go. and you're trying to do everything right. You're trying to get into that rhythm, right? And this is going to take some time. The one to Thornton, he was just, and here's the thing though, some of these plays were just missing, just rarely missing. So that's why, to me, it wasn't such a big deal as far as dealing with that. I think the guys had enough time to get prepared for the coaches to say, okay, look, we shoot third, play, we losing. That's, hey man, X is he's a big part of what we do offensively. We know that. But that's the reason we have a Tyquan Thornton. That's why we have a Hollywood Brown. That's why when I was sitting up there and I was naming all the guys that we have, is the reason. That's the reason you have these dudes, do what they do. But also, too, we could talk about, getting in the rhythm of the run game. What do you do with the run game? If I'm sitting over here and I'm watching, in the run, Patrick Mahomes, our leading rusher, he had 6 carries, and those was like, from, busted cover or, coverages. He was just taking off. Isaiah Pacheco had 5 carries for 25 yards, and Kareem Hunt had 5 for 16. Then the X had that 1, but that was it. That's what you had. And it's almost like, and I attribute a lot of it to not just the offense, right? Defense, special teams. Harrison Buckner misses an extra point. Like, it was just like little things like that. It was like, dang, man, we need to freshen things up. We just need to get ourselves back in order. And so and what I did recognize is this, just playing ball for a long time. I know Justin Herbert kind of barked, it's just another game. These suckers was ready. They needed this game. They prepared for this the entire off season. That it wasn't about everybody else. The Chiefs in the first game was what they needed to try to establish. That's what they needed to do. Okay. And they was going to try to get the thing done. So there's some things I do see. Our secondary is young. Okay. So communication was definitely not there as it should have been. Passing guys off, passing receivers off, not coming up, playing the man like you should. There's a lot of different things that I saw that you can definitely get better at. Okay. And what does that mean? Okay. Next, we'll coach them up. Good. They got a decent receiving core, the good running back. But hey, we kind of stopped a little bit of that. But there were some things, it was just off key. That's all it was. Just a little bit just off. Mm-hmm. So that's what I saw a lot of it. So as far as going to get another receiver, and look, they may go do that. They may go do it. So I don't think that's off the table. But the reality is, you got to teach him the playbook. Is he going to be effective? He's going to be the guy that comes in and immediately be a difference maker. I think we got the guys in the room.
I think it really comes down to how long Worthy's out. I don't think we should even. That's not even a consideration. If he's back in 2 to 3 weeks, and no, I don't think that's
no.
Yeah, if he's out long, if he's out for the season, I'm going to go absolute worst case here, or back week 10 plus. Then yeah, I would look for a receiver, not because it's panic, just because we did lose something that we are counting on, right? And we didn't talk about Rice. We lost our number 1 and number 2 receiver, right? Rice didn't start the game. We knew it beforehand, and we were expecting it for a long time. But we still lost 2 guys that have been the passing offense this offseason, right? And then when Rice was out, it was all right, we'll be fine with Worthy for the time being. We lost the time being guy, right, for the time being. So
and you factor in that Hollywood hasn't played at all. Last few weeks he didn't play in any preseason games, and then he was also out with his the ankle injury that he had as well. So that was his first acclimation. It looked a little rusty with Mahomes, and to start with him, he had to drop right away on the hitch, and then the one where Mahomes kind of threw it behind him and he had to dive for it. It was almost a pick, but they were trying to get on kind of in sync, and they ended up getting in sync eventually. But yeah, that first game of the season was the first time he was actually out there and getting game reps with Mahomes, so that also adds to that element too.
It's huge. That was what they used to do in preseason for 4 games. They used to play a quarter each, right? And that'd be it. They just played 4 quarters together for the first time, in a very, very long time.
Well, it's just I'm thinking just moving forward. And this is what I know. Okay, Hollywood Brown has been a number one receiver in the league. Juju has been a number one receiver in the league. Travis Kelce is a capable tight end. He's been best, to play the game. And so when we're sitting over here, we having these conversations about, how this game looked. We understand what they had to deal with, right? It's like, okay, at a certain point, guys, guess what? They're not rookies. They're not second-year players. These guys understand, they understand that. Juju and those guys will be able to get open. And so it's good to have veteran guys. Now, when you sit there and you talk, Tyquan Thornton, or, Jason Brownlee, those are the young guys, right? Jalen Royals is that. We didn't have him either. He's going to come back. So we're talking about as far as, I don't even like to talk about going to get another receiver. We got enough guys. We do. Part of it is just execution. It really is. It's execution of plays. So, the timing of it, Hollywood Brown catching the ball, he's coming out of the whip route, getting out there on the right time. I mean, they're going to learn those things. Same thing like that, Kelce and Patrick's like, how can you not keep going? And Travis, I think, is just thinking about catching, settling, and then taking off, right? Yeah. It's just like looking at each other like, oh, man, how we missed that? They've been doing it together forever.
I know.
Like that. So, hey, man, so first game.
Jenny, have you read, just because I'm trying to, there's a separated shoulder. There's also a dislocated shoulder. I guess they're two separate things, which I always thought they were kind of the same. Did you ever have any of these injuries, any kind of dislocation shoulder or separated shoulder? No history with that?
No, I did. I dislocated my collarbone, the same thing that Hollywood had. That was it. As far as shoulder-wise, I never really had any issues. So
okay. I was trying to see any first-hand experience with how long these can be. I've seen different ranges. I've seen some people say it could be 4 to 6 weeks. I've seen 8 to 10 weeks. I've seen season ending, depending on if he tore a labrum or rotator cuff within that injury as well.
I had a little sprain, but you could get that. You could deal with it. I mean, it's just pain, and if you could get past the pain, you'll be fine. And so, that is on the player on where he is. But with Xavier Worthy, man, that joke is so thin. You know what I'm saying? He just, it's different for a wide receiver. So
and Kelce's a big boy too, so you're colliding with that. Whew.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Somebody was asked how did they collide? And the thing is, when they run crossing routes, how you run crossing routes is you either read man or zone, and so it's incumbent upon the guy to set the depth of the route. Okay. So one is running the pick, okay? The other one is there to make his defender bounce over him. So when Xavier Worthy is turning his head, he's the one setting the depth, all right? Travis Kelce's coming across, and I think Travis is sitting over here thinking, all right, I got to look like I can't look at the defender, to set the pick. I got to turn my head to make it look like, oh, okay, we just casually run at each other. Then it's just, right? It just happens. But both of them jokers just kind of ran up. And I don't know if it was Xavier Worthy drifting up because he could turn his head and drift. And Travis he's just got to make sure he's staying out of Xavier's way. He's just trying to get the defender. So even the defender trails Xavier, and not run the bubble, it should work out. It's just bizarre things like that. It's like, come on, man. This is shallow cross. Is
that lack of preseason cohesion, just not having enough game time together?
No, man, you can run shallow cross in your sleep. The entire concept of what you're supposed to do. And those things like that shouldn't happen. If it does happen, something like that happens in practice, and you sit there like, hey, man, you got to be the one to set the depth. You set the depth, I'm coming and making sure I'm picking your guy. So, like I said, I don't know who it was. Maybe when Xavier Worthy was looking, he drifted a little bit. So it's just things like that, man. Like I said, first games. This is first game, man. It just, hey.
That's a second receiver injured by friendly fire.
Against the Chargers, too, and they're technically their home game also 2 years in a row.
What are y'all saying? What is that? What are y'all saying?
Well, just the
Mahomes injured Rice last year.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. What do y'all say? Is this like?
No, I don't know. It's just terrible coincidence.
Just bad juju. Just bad juju.
Good juju tonight, but bad juju for the team.
Football, man. It's football. Football, fellas. That's all it is.
I will say, Brashard Smith. The touchdown that Kelce has. The defense, too, the dudes went with Brashard Smith. They thought he was going to get the ball, and they kind of end around like kind of like a screen pass, and Kelce goes wide open on the back end. And I do think you're going to see a little bit more. People are saying, "Oh, go get a receiver." Well, I mean, Brashard Smith came out with the receivers tonight. I think you're going to see a little bit more Brashard Smith, and I will say he was in a lot tonight. He was a second running back in tonight before Kareem Hunt was, as far as not touches, but like he was in there before Kareem Hunt was. But I mean, I think we're going to see a little bit more of him. If Xavier Worthy's out for a long period of time, I think you'll get even more involved in the offense. So that's another reason why it was good to have a guy like Brashard Smith on this team.
He was out there a lot. I mean, he was just doing his Fitbit steps really at this point, but you got steps in the night. But he was out there a lot.
They definitely they're scouting on him because, man, like on that play where Kelce's wide open, dudes went to him. So it was like, okay, we're keying in on this guy. So that's gonna be something to look forward to in the future.
I think it's the same thing. Like, they're trying to get the right calls too. Your first game, you just like, guys open. You're like, how's guys wide open like this?
I know.
There is a lack of making the calls. Everybody's got to be on the same page. And I seen a lot, not just from the Chiefs, but also the Chargers. The guys are not being on the same page, guys being open. You're like, that shouldn't happen. Like, whose fault is that? And so when you start seeing guys look at each other, just like we seen toward the end when Drew Tranquil and Chris Jones getting into it, it's like, look, everybody's got a responsibility. And sometimes when you like, hey, man, it's your responsibility. How come you making this call? If I'm sitting over here and I'm telling you, you got in, I got out, I got to make sure that the call is clear. There's clarity there. And so that one touchdown they had in the end zone where there was nobody around, it was McDuffie and Hicks. And I'm just like, there's no way. Like, how do y'all not call that? You know what I mean? How's that not Mickey Mouse? Y'all not calling the call? That somebody should know clearly. If the guy comes out, I got him. If he goes deep, you got him. And things like that, I was just seeing like, that God. And I know that, coaches who know the scheme and whatnot are pulling their hair out. Because it's like, what are you, coach? And I heard, what's the name? He said it, and he said it probably the best. I heard Cam Newton said what he saw was a lot of my bads, I'm sorry, or I get it the next time. It was a lot of that. And that's what you're going to have probably the first game because everybody's trying to understand each other. But when you play in, the Chargers, a team who was determined to beat you and making sure to get, this lead in the division, you got to be straight. It can't be, like you said, no my bads and all that anymore. Hey, man, we got to be tight. We got to be tight, especially if we miss somebody. So, they're going to the drawing board, man. I think, you always got to try to look at the positive somehow, and some things got exposed, and it needed to be. Sometimes if you win on a game like this, you still know there's issues and problems, right?
Exactly.
You just want to win the game. Sure.
And I feel like I was going to say this at the beginning of the show. I feel like our wins in a lot of those games that really should have been losses. I mean, it's great to have a great record, but I also feel like in a way it stopped us from having fixing true problems, like real issues that we did have last year. I mean, because we said this last year, we filled up the bingo card on ways you can win games. I mean, we won every way you can imagine. Games we should have lost, honestly, right? I'm happy we won them as a fan, but I just feel like there's something psychological about that coming out with a win. You're not as focused on fixing your issues because, you look up and you have the best record in the NFL and you ran away with it. And I feel like we're definitely due regression. You can't keep winning games like that every week. You're just not gonna. It just the average, the laws of average they're gonna even out eventually. You're just not gonna win all those games. It's impossible to do. So I'm not surprised by games like this. We probably should have had more games like this last year. We didn't because we just ended up pulling out of our behind. But it's just, these are going to happen.
So, and I hear a lot of people, I'm looking at some of the comments and the conversation, like this looked like the Super Bowl team, they were trash and coaches are trash for real. That's just, it didn't look like the same team for the Super Bowl for one. Two, we addressed some of the issues that we had. Okay, we couldn't block up front to save nobody's life. Obviously, we know Jawan Taylor was getting penalties, which that needs to straighten out immediately. You know, so there was Pat had protection. That's one thing Pat did have. He had some protection. He had some time. You know, he took off running, doing his thing. You know, because that's what Pat's going to do.
Right.
But as far as protecting him, successful, pretty much. There was success there. But
I didn't love our push up front though on runs.
Not me either.
I don't.
But that's the thing. The pass pro was good tonight. I agree with JD on that. There was times where Pat had all day back there, and for whatever reason, I want to see all 22. He didn't throw it, so I don't know if the guys were getting covered back there. But the pass pro looked great. Left side looked great. Kingsley, the conversation all lost was how's Kingsley and Simmons going to look? They look fine. Honestly, those two on that side, I have less questions about those guys than I do with some of the other guys as far as, getting pushed as far as getting the run lanes. And there wasn't a lot of stuff to be open. But that was kind of where I was thinking, JD, as far as the O-line looked good tonight as far as the pass protection. It was the run game. And again, we aren't running the ball enough. We're not running the ball enough outside of Pat to actually, to kind of work on that a little bit. But it didn't seem we were getting enough push up there. Besides Kareem Hunt's 4th and 1 first downs, though. Those are always cake when he goes in there for those.
Even that, he had to kick it outside because that right side, that collapsed. So he had to kick that outside on that. He had to take a little cut on that because that was not – he would have gotten stuffed if he tried going inside on that. But,
yeah, I agree. I think you needed to see a little bit more push, a little bit more of, kind of that grit to run the football, which, for us, I mean, the guys up front are bullies. They are road graders for sure. But sometimes, like I said, man, you get into that mode of just passing the ball that you start sitting back on your heels a lot. And then you got to call some plays, man. It's going to look good for the guys to go out and actually deplete guys. I mean, we seen Creed Humphrey dribble a ball back to Patrick Mahomes tonight. I mean,
that was,
you know what I'm saying? So, so it didn't look the same as far as that respect. When we're sitting there talking about, the guys that we were, going to rely on wide receiver wise, we ain't got Rashee Rice. Like you said, Xavier Worthy goes out. Jalen Royals didn't play. I mean, we got enough. We got enough. And imagine those all three of those guys get back. It looks different. But I think like I said before, we have enough. But we got it. Like you said, we got to be effective running the daggone football. We have to be. And so, I don't know. It's got to be a balance there somewhat on what we do. I get, we're going to do what we do. So we'll get it together.
What did you make of the kind of splits of between Pacheco and Kareem? Did you like the way they kind of went with the cycling in and out? Because it seemed like second half of the game, I barely even saw Pacheco. It was pretty much all Kareem back there. And I don't know if they wanted him in there more for the pass protection aspect to have somebody back there with him. But it seemed like they went more to 29 in the end of that game. I think it was the last drive we saw Pacheco in there again, but for pretty much the most part, it was number 29 in there in the third and fourth quarter. What did you make of the kind of the rotation between the backs, JD?
I mean, I think too much about it. I mean, sure, the guy's going and he's running the ball effectively. Yeah, put him in. But if you're saying, Kareem Hunt is probably the better pass protector, yeah, sure, keep him in because that's what we're doing more than anything else. Passing the daggone football. So
yeah.
That's 5 a carry. I mean,
what were his stats of the night, Tish?
I think he ended up with 5 or 25.
Okay.
It's just not enough. That's half of what he was projected in Vegas. I mean, that's not.
And Kareem got more than that. Yeah. As far as his carries, Kareem got more than what he was supposed to get.
Oh, so they got Pacheco got 5, Kareem got 5. So,
yeah, not collectively 10. I mean,
yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, Pacheco was projected to get more than that, but one guy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not we're getting blown out. It's just I don't know.
Well, also too, in some of the coaches, and it goes into the penalty calls. Because now all of a sudden you get a penalty. Now you back 1st and 20. It's like, Come on, man. Like, what are you doing? Holding call, it's, which that changes things. Coaches got to turn the page on it to call something else.
Sure.
That does change, how you call a game. And I seen that look on Andy's face. Andy was pissed. He was pissed. He didn't want to get visible. I seen that look before, like, better straighten your tail up. So, but hey, man.
So you guys, you mentioned Juwan Taylor and the penalties. I think, and I'm seeing everyone's obviously upset about the fall starts and just where he's on pace for his penalties wise in the season. But I've seen a lot of people make this point. And I think it's a good point. We talked about it, right? Before the last few years, we didn't really have a backup tackle that was waiting in the wings, right? There was that one game they pulled him out and they put Prince in there at the right tackle spot for that one game, just to kind of what was going on with Juwan, just to kind of fix him that Bears game a couple years ago. Now you have Jalen Moore, who, all intents and purposes, Jalen Moore looks solid in preseason at the right tackle spot. He looked good. He's getting paid a little bit more. He's not just some, UDFA off the street. Do you think now, with 3 years into the Juwan Taylor and the continuous of this fall starts and his alignment issue, no more alignment issues, so that's a good thing. It's just more the fall starts. Do you think there is plausibility where they do look and say, hey, like, this can't continue? I think I saw Andy say the penalties tonight were inexcusable. We need to fix that up. If you were kind of coaching the offensive line or Juwan Taylor, how would you go about as far as like, hey, you need to clean this up or else we're going to go to the other guy we have behind you? Because it's just the false start penalties are just, inexcusable is one word of saying it, but it's just, it's inexcusable. It really what it comes down to at the end of the day. To do it as much as he has been doing for the last 3 years, that's an issue.
Well, I guess it's the same. The last couple of years, once you get a good talking to, he kind of, straightens up. So maybe this is the one to straighten him up. I don't. Do you put a guy in now? When it's early. Shoot, I don't know. I tell you what. Let me put it this way: he's on a short leash. That's for daggone sure. And we've seen Andy pull him before.
Yeah.
For a guy. So don't think it can't happen. Is it plausible? Sure it is. But he'll give him a chance to fix it. And if it continues, you will absolutely see a change.
And I guess to that, JD, you say he's on a short leash. Before, like, he was pulled for Prince Tagawanono, and I totally butchered his last name, but who looked pretty solid too when he did come in. Then he got hurt, but they pulled him for a guy who wasn't making anything. Now you have a guy back there who is making a good chunk of change, and say, okay, well, you know what? Like, now we actually have a guy we'll trust to go to full time if you're going to keep this up, kind of thing. I think that also plays a part in it too, the fact that you're paying a dude good money who's sitting right behind you too. That also puts that added pressure as well, right?
Yeah, and he played well in preseason. Sure, but you're making more money than he is. So what? So what do you? Okay, it's okay. I'm gonna use my money. This guy right here is getting paid more money than the guy that we brought in, who was actually supposed to be our left tackle. But sure, I'm sure there is a thought, there's a conversation, but I'm sure he got onto the sideline, and I'm sure Andy Heck got in him, let him know, like, yeah, that's ridiculous. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. So.
Teja, where do you stand on the whole? What were your kind of thoughts just seeing the Juwan Taylor 4 penalties tonight? Team as a whole had 19. He had 4 tonight.
My initial thought was one more year with him,
or 19 last year.
Just one more year. So he's not going to be here next year. Just put up with it and just try to keep it under control for one more year, and he can help us. I just can't believe he can't get this right by now. It's crazy to me. It's such like a rookie. It's like a rookie thing to have like happen to you this much. I can't believe he hasn't adjusted this. And like, I'm not a player. I'm not a former player, but like, it's procedural. Like it's like you're not doing something correctly before a snap or when the ball is snapped. It's not like it's mind-boggling to me. It's really frustrating actually, because it's like, and that's why Kelce was furious. It's like, dude, like, what are you doing? I mean, like, well, I'm sure he said something way worse to him than that, but yeah, man, it's really frustrating to be a fan seeing that.
Yeah, I will say, seeing Kelce get mad at him like that, I don't think we saw another false start after that. Maybe that'd been the last one that he had after Kelce reamed into him like that.
Was that the fourth quarter though?
The third or fourth quarter. But I mean, yeah, Josh Simmons had a false start, right? And I think I saw someone online was like, "Oh, Simmons too." So okay, Josh Simmons is playing his first NFL game, his first regular season game. I'll give him a few false starts here and there. He's a rookie, for crying out loud. It's his first game. And it happened once to him tonight. That was it.
If Simmons is doing this like week 15, I'll be a little more upset. We're talking about a veteran on his second big contract. Like, no. I mean, the time for that is done. That's gone. I don't know.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's not like he's being beat and he's like holding somebody to prevent a sack or something. I think they're false starts. I mean, like, it's a lapse of concentration or judgment. I don't know.
Yeah,
it is. It's lack of concentration and focus. Because what the snap count is. The thing is, you just got to lock in and just know. Those are almost like one of the things that is a lack of focus. Is that, and it's like, look, playing tight end, you're out there on the edge, trying to listen. It can be loud. I don't know what what it's like in that stadium. I'm sure it's not worse than any other place, but shoot, that shouldn't happen. That many in one night is like, it is crazy. That is ridiculous. It is. Seriously, it's just no excuse for that whatsoever. So I'm just going to keep it 100. What does that mean going forward is the question. We don't know. So we'll just have to find out.
Do you think it's something that can get into his head and he can overthink it now? Like, I mean,
shoot, if anything, I would be late coming off the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You get beat after that. You're coming off late. You're right. Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I had to hold Trey's hand. Let's hold hands, and then let's go off the snap count. Sure. But I'm sure on the sideline, they the same thing. Like, look, watch 74, watch Taylor. He's always jumping off sides and whatnot. Because I heard a lot of people talking about the same thing with the Eagles, and they tackles jumping off. They ain't call them. They've been doing it and they just fine. But we're gonna get called. Hey man, it's part of ball. But look, these guys, they're gonna have to regroup. Okay, that you're gonna be without Worthy probably for a couple of weeks. All right. You might as well go ahead and get that in your mind right now. I tell you what, the guys are probably upset and beating themselves up because the Chargers are a good football team, but we knew we should have beat them. And it was almost like every time we was in striking distance, we shot ourselves in the foot. Something else happened. Like I said, Buckner missing that extra point. It's like what? What's going on? And when we started cooking, we started moving the ball. Those are okay. The guys are starting to figure it out, moving the football. And so, it just comes down to just making plays. But then, like I said, I go just to the defensive side. We just can't give up that many points, and we can't give up that many yards in the passing game. And like I said, I think it was just a lack of communication in a lot of different ways. Pass rush wasn't really getting there like it should have. Didn't get any type of pressures, unless it was like a blitz or somebody coming from and even then they did a good job. Hampton did a good job picking guys up. He grabbed that one at the end. I thought they was gonna call it. I was like, "Dang, God!"
I had a lot of friends text me about that. Not text me and be like, "Dude, that was blatant holding."
Najee too. Najee and Hampton did it 2 different occasions.
Yeah. So I'm just like, he's got his jersey back this way. He's getting past him, and they don't grab his head. I was like, I knew it was going to be a flag. A touchdown. I'm like, that's a flag. There's a flag back there. Nope. And so, this is what we have to deal with, man. This is what we're going to have to deal with. Everybody, they fuss about calls. The Chiefs getting calls today.
I know.
I was in a barbershop today who is a Cowboys fan. He's like, man, the Chiefs got all type of calls last year. And I'm like, look, man, that ain't what it is. And so it's almost like they're going to do their best not to give us a call. That's what it's going to be. I'm telling you. So these guys are going to be ready for the fight. First game, I know everybody's pissed off with it. Heck, they more pissed off because they knew they had enough to win, and they should have. Pat and those guys knew if they got in their position again, then fine. We one play away from Chris Jones coming on the inside, okay, not running his lane, to getting the ball back with 2 minutes left in the game and maybe coming back with and doing something. But, hey.
3rd and 14, man. So 3rd and 14, we should be getting the ball back. Yeah,
right.
I'm with you. JD, so you talked about there was really no penetration up front. I will say I was surprised with the way that the run defense was tonight. I mean, that Hampton, other than a couple, 5 or 6 yard carry, 5 or 6 yard runs that he had, pretty much contained the run a lot tonight, which I was kind of surprised about, that we did a good job shutting down the run. However, they were kind of getting anything they wanted with the passing game. The underneath stuff was there. It's pretty much acting as their run game tonight. And I saw a combination of people say, oh, well, there's no pass rush, so obviously the secondary is going to get eaten up. But they weren't really eating us up like deep. I mean, they were getting us with a 5 yard, 6 yard like underneath routes between Keenan and Ladd, and they were just kind of eating us up. And that's really nothing to do with pass rush. I mean, Herbert's getting that out fast on those. But were you more concerned with the what did you kind of rate the secondary tonight? If you just based on what you saw, I mean, it seemed like it was just too soft coverage tonight.
It was. I think the guys are kind of soft in the secondary. And I think, guys were a little lost. I think the communication back there wasn't as good. I mean, I see Dave Merrick on the side like, yo, like, what, he's, and we got to realize, man, we do have a young secondary. There's young guys out there. So some of those pass plays, I get 5 yards, 10 yards, but at least get somewhat of a pressure, get your hand up. Like, it wasn't even making Justin Herbert uncomfortable. It wasn't even like breathing down his neck, like he just get him to move his feet. That's what I'm talking about, like penetration. Even if it's like, guys catching 10 yards, have enough of that penetration to coming up the field, to get your hand in, the passing lane, whatever. That one sucker, who was it? Dent on their side, knocked down about 3 or 4 balls. It was Tart. I did Tart.
He should have been, and he shouldn't even been in the game, to be honest with you. He should have been booted.
What did you make of that, JD? So they said they didn't eject him for hitting Travis in the helmet because it was open hand, not closed fist. I mean,
you're not supposed to hit someone with a helmet with a closed fist.
Yeah, no.
break your fist, break your knuckle doing that.
Well, that was the explanation that the referee in the booth gave. It was he didn't get ejected from the game because it was an open hand shot to the helmet, the face mask, not closed fist.
Yeah, I don't know. You hit a guy in the helmet, regardless of how you hit him.
Toss.
That should be like, hey, man, or at least a penalty. I don't know, toss.
Well, they got the 15-yard penalty, but a lot of people thought they should have been an ejection. So the official came on the booth and was like, no, because it was open-handed to the face mask, it's not ejectable. Which, I mean, we saw a guy get spit on last night. And a spit is ejectable, but a guy who hits somebody in the helmet, that's not ejectable. I mean, I would say that one's more dangerous than the other one.
I think because guys get smacked sometimes, and sometimes it's inadvertent, so that they're grouping it all together. But I think you have to. I mean, the way they review everything, I think every situation is different. That was a haymaker, dude. That wasn't just like a.
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up because I didn't get to see it.
That wasn't a smack to the side. That wasn't like a some guys push. They kind of push the guy's helmet sometimes.
Mhm.
It's kind of like a jab, but this was like a full
Rear packing jam, like,
oh no, it was follow through. Like, yeah, Kelce's head like swung back hard, like it was right to the right up there. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, look it up, please, because I mean, I want to get your instant opinion on that.
Yeah, Susan asked. She said, "What does that mean?" He got hit, and I was like, "What do you?" I was like, "I said, what are you talking about?" So I guess I might have walked in. Okay.
Yeah. Will says follow through like he was throwing a shot put.
Yeah, a penalty for sure is a personal foul for sure. I don't know.
And he batted like 3 balls with that hand afterwards too. So I mean, him being ejected would have been nice.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that sucker hit me like that. He should have been on the head on the swivel. I'd have been looking for him ribs every single play after that.
Hey, that would again stop putting his hands up. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
I told Marcus, I was like, man, Trey Smith's gotta get on this dude and not let him put his hands up like that.
Oh yeah.
Once, twice, 3 times, man. That's too many. It's way too many. Start doing that.
You teach a joker real quick.
And it's the guy that did to Kelce. He definitely should have had something coming to his midsection.
Oh, I'm gonna find you. It'd be like showing up when he said, "You will never use his foot again." I'd be like, "You will never use this hand to hit me in my face like that again. I'll break every finger that you got." So
obviously we talked about the no pass or no penetration. I thought, and I'm not knocking any players, but Jones was getting double teamed a good amount tonight, like usual. And when he was on the sidelines for one of the series, he was on the sidelines. I remember seeing Jerry Tillery and Derek Nottie in there in the trenches, not getting any push whatsoever. And I'm like, I mean, and Herbert's got all day back there, and it's like, oh man, like. And not that, I mean, I know people have knocked us on our channel for saying we defend Pinnell too much. It's not Pinnell would have, been a game changer by any means, but like we've had more penetration than that. It was a stalemate, JD. It was Derek Nottie and Taylor were just standing there. It was a stalemate. There was no push whatsoever. They keeping them back there. And these are times where when Becton was out, when they had their backup guard in there, and of course their right tackle, that's a backup too, because they have Alt playing left tackle, so they have Pipkins who's their backup right tackle in there. I mean, they were just kind of stalemating a lot of our guys. And it was pretty disturbing to watch, honestly.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you think we should go? I know people were talking about receivers, and we talked about this, adding another rotational guy. Gelati looked good. I will say that. I want to give props to someone. Gelati looked phenomenal tonight. I know he got hurt on a kickoff. I don't know what ended up happening with his elbow. He ended up holding it, and I didn't see him after that. Here's any updates on Gelati. But he looked like a pro. You saw him in there like, damn, 97's a real deal. You could just see that. He stood out to you, popped out. He wasn't in there towards the end of the game, so the injury. But I saw today, and we talk about good teams still will add when they need it, right? Last night we saw the Eagles. We know they have a great pass rush. What they do, they go out and sign Zadarius Smith today because they're like, you know what? Our pass rush isn't there. Let's go get a veteran edge. Yeah. Jadeveon Clowney's still out there, so to have another guy in there who can help us with the pass rush or give it some kind of penetration, that'd be nice. I mean, I know it's a 1-game sample size, but like we saw a little bit of that during preseason too, that we weren't really getting that either. So it's kind of a continuation of that.
Yeah, we got to get more out of those guys for sure, and that's why we went hard in the paint for Pinnell. So if we got some pushback for that, okay. I still stand by that Mike Pinnell was going to give you something a little bit more than what I seen tonight from, being comparable to Chris Jones, right? And so, man, I just need to see more. I just didn't see enough from there of being violent inside, handling guards and tackles and centers like you like the pins on it. I didn't see that. And I'm talking about when you play defensive tackle, you got to be nasty, dirty. I mean, I'm talking just you ready just to bite, whatever. You got to. That's because that's the position you play. You know that's a nasty position that you got to create a lot of chaos. And I didn't see chaos enough. It just, that's why it enrages me, because I know Mike gonna give you something. He would have gave you that. And so I know. I get this young guys. You wait for guys to kind of step up and get into a place, but man, if he's gonna be back there making a sandwich, it's not all right, and it does compromise the secondary. Now, I will say this. I don't think all of that was just on the D-line. I think part of it was on the secondary too. I think a lot of, it was guys not communicating and playing up on guys as they should. Like, Chargers got decent receivers. They do. But them suckers was way too open tonight. They were. In the end zone, dancing. I was like, man, Keenan Allen has bad knee. His knees as bad as mine. And I'm like, come on. Like this, and I think it's just where the guys are young. Okay. I don't think Jamari had a good game. I don't think Hicks had a good game. I don't think Cook had such a good game. So those are the things that, those guys, because they are younger guys, got to bring more. Got to see more from that, man. So I just and they all three of those guys I named are capable. That's why I'm saying that. All three are capable. It's just they got to get on the same page with the communication, knowing where to be, and be tight in everything that they do. So
I will say, I remember when we played the Chargers last year, I remember that one of the biggest concerns we had after that game, obviously we came away with the win, but Ladd McConkey and Shamari Connor was guarding him one-on-one. And there was a few times there where I saw 27 over Ladd McConkey, and I'm like, what are we doing? Do we not learn at all from last year? Why do we have a safety guarding a little quick slot guy as Ladd McConkey? And there was a few times where McConkey's got a little 6-yard, little slant, or got a little hitch route, and we got 27 as safety over top of playing one-on-one. It's like, I just think some of the schemes are just off. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we tend to see this sometimes every year, but like Bolton guarding Keenan Allen one-on-one. It's like, why is that ever happening? That should never happen.
Yeah. I mean, that's the matchups you want. If you have some Bolton on like a Keenan Allen, you're expecting somebody's going to get back and penetrate. You're looking for an errant throw. You're looking for some type of pressure. So they all work in conjunction with one another that, you're expecting something here. That's why you get the matchup, right? That's why you do it. So, everybody's relying on each other, especially defensively. You have to have that. So at the end of the game, it was kind of telling. I think Noah John said that Chris, he said, yeah, I lost penetration. He owned up to it. But there was a little bit of them getting into it, because it's like, hey man, like you have a responsibility. And if we're sitting there 3rd and 14 and forever, and you don't do your responsibility, somebody's not expected to cover that because you got it. So everybody's got to play their role. And so that's things like that, man, to get you frustrated. But that right there, that hurts, man. 3rd of that, God, that hurts. So I had just, yuck. Chargers, man.
Yeah,
go
ahead.
No, were you going to say, Teja? Go for it.
So they averaged 5.3 yards per first down. So they had a lot of manageable second and thirds. They could do a lot with that. And we weren't guarding them up tight. We weren't guarding them tight on 3rd and shorts or 3rd and mediums. We were off of them like 5 yards. They just sat on a route and just like fell down, and it was a first down. They didn't have to even get yak on some of those. They were already just first. They'd catch it and just do the little Torrey Holt slide. They didn't have to get hit. They just went down right away. And they were 7 of 12 on 3rd down, but they were 6 of 8 on 3rd downs of under 10 yards. So anytime they had not a third and extremely long of double digits, they pretty much got it.
Yeah.
Just bad management. Yeah, it was rough. It was frustrating because we've seen so much better defense out of the Chiefs in recent time.
Oh yeah.
And this reminded me of like old days where like the other team got the ball and it was like toward the end I was like, man, I don't think we're getting the ball back here. It was sad. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we put us in a good position. All we do is make the stop. It's like, hey, we make the stop right here, they're gonna be fine. And what you had to do right then is you got to play the sticks. You got to make sure you play the sticks tight. So that means you got to be sticky with those guys and making sure, like you was talking about, Teja, at 5 and 10 yards, you got to be on a guy. You can't think he's gonna go deep. You just got to think, look, they're trying to get the first down. But him scrambling down, man, that should never happen.
Like there was one play, I forgot who it was. I yelled with you, Marcus. It was the DB pulled off to like see where Disley was headed on like a poster. I was like, dude, he ain't throwing it's like 3rd and 6, man. He's not throwing a post to Disley. Come on, look for the short receiver. I was like, oh man, you pulled off of your guy to keep track of Disley.
Yeah. Well.
Oh man. Game 1, JD.
Game one. Guys they're gonna feel sick watching this field. They're gonna feel sick. So the reality is this. You're gonna have time to take an assessment of everything. First game, yeah. It's gonna be a lot of this is where the noise comes in. The doubt. Boy, I can't wait till we hear all the pundits. Oh my gosh, gee, didn't I tell you so? What'd I tell you? Well, didn't the Chiefs was done? I had to tell you this. Right.
Lay it on thick.
Yes.
Lay it on real thick.
Yes, please do. And all the Chiefs gonna do is go right back to work. Okay. And it's gonna take the coaches, it's gonna take the players to understand this is what we have to handle. Okay. We take care of what we had to do, our responsibility. We're going to be fine. This is going to be a good test for us against Philly. And I watched them play the Cowboys. The Cowboys should have won that game.
I know. Yeah, Philly didn't look that good, actually. If I was a Philly fan, I would be upset by the performance.
Yeah. So this is a different team. I said it's a young secondary. It is. Same thing with his pass rush. It's going to have to get better. It's going to be some penetration. We're going to have to get some real dogs that, especially in that 3 and 1. We're going to get some real dogs. We can't expect Chris to be that guy all the time, okay? Because there's times Chris is going to need a break. So the 2 guys in there is going to have to make an issue and a problem. That's what it is. So, and we'll get there. Offensively, look, we know guys are hurt. Fine. We'll get some of those guys back. We're going to be closer than what we think. Jalen Royals coming back is going to help us out tremendously. And I think we got to explore how we can get the ball to Travis Kelce too more. But this is why it's important when you have tight ends getting the ball to them as well. Establish your run game because that has to happen because it opens up the pass. So, we take this game for what it's worth. And everybody's they upset about everything. Look, I'm looking at the chat. Everybody upset about everything. We had the wrong jersey on, or whatever it is, right? And hey, we're gonna let it soak in. Go back to the drawing board. This is what we're dealing with. But I'm gonna say the guys are gonna be fine. But there might be some changes. Believe me.
There definitely will be. I mean, if Andy Reid started his press conference saying that the penalties are inexcusable, we can point to one guy with 4 tonight, that's kind of been his thing the last few years. Mm-hmm. And we have a guy right there who looked pretty good behind him. That's definitely on the table for next week. I wouldn't bet against that. I did want to ask you this before we get out of here, JD. Mahomes tonight, obviously we talked about And he was running because like the defenses were just bailing. There was no spy on him. They were just bailing. It wasn't in the past. I know people said it reminded them of the Super Bowl. It's like, well, not really, because he was getting that protection and he was taking off because there was no one spying him. He had all day back there, honestly. He was like, you know what? I can pick up 8 to 10 yards right here. Why not?
Yeah.
I loved when we were kind of down this game after multiple 3-and-outs in a row. We come back on the field and he goes in there. And instead of sliding or going out of bounds as much as like he should, because he's our quarterback, if he goes down, we have a lot more problems. I do like the fact that he was going in there, and that's just competitive fire in him. It was just trying to bring everybody else up. He was going in there and like trying to get the extra yards and like getting hit by the linebacker. And then later on in the game, he's going to the sideline and he trucks the linebacker. He was trying to get that like that spark and that like competitive fire at everybody, saying like, look, I'm doing this extra shit. I want you guys all to pick your game up too. And I love that, because it was just something. You don't usually see quarterbacks do that, right? The quarterback just trying to pick his team up and showing like, look, I'm taking the extra shots. I'm trying to get the extra work in. And I think our team needed that, because then you start to see guys picking each other up and like, yelling at each other on the sidelines and whatnot. So I did love that.
Yeah. I mean, look, we know he's a competitor. We know that. And I want to see him. I know they say, hey, man, look, I love the fire, but get your side of bounds, step out. But when he gave it at shoulder shrug, I said, look at Pat, man. Oh my gosh. And that's what it was. Take some of this. Like, still letting everybody know this is who I am. I'm not shying away from anybody. I'm not backing down from no one. Like, I'm gonna keep coming to you. And so that's the type of leader you need. And as long as we have a leader like that, we're gonna be fine. And I think really, to be honest with you, Marcus, that's why I'm not really worried about all the things that happen. All these other things they can figure out and fix. They can. All right. They're going to be fine with that. As long as PM15 is sitting over there, he got that grimace in his face, because it's almost like it's like breathing. That he's got to win. And I see him over there like that, chewing on his tag. He don't like this one. He didn't like that one at all. He didn't like the taste of this one at all. So I'm sure he's gonna have a few things to say too to the guys. So, and that's gonna be good. That's gonna be good. So guys gonna be all right, man. Shoot. Take the little butt whipping, we good.
Yep.
Head on back home. Get out of Brazil as fast as you can.
Yep.
Come on home. Shoot.
Seeing some false reports in the chat. Worthy's not out. It has not been said that Worthy's out for the season.
He hasn't got an MRI yet.
Yeah, as Thunder Dan said, no update on Worthy till tomorrow. Stop panicking, people in the chat. He's getting an MRI tomorrow, so you can't really see much from whatever's going on in the shoulder until he gets the MRI. So yeah, he's not out for the season just yet. I don't know where that even comes from. I've seen a few people in the chat saying he's out for the season.
Really?
Yeah.
They got the doctor on the line? I know Monaco, those guys.
They have these weak fantasy football doctors that go on there and speak nonsense with cool pictures.
Yeah, some of these doctors. We'll see what happens with it, because right now I think they'd list him out as with a shoulder injury is what they said. So we don't know what really it is yet.
Yeah, man, we'll wait on that, man. Shoot.
But again, this is the most we talked about before. This is the most amount of receivers Andy Reid has kept on his team going into a season. We had 8 guys, and with Royals hopefully coming back. Royals, it was a tendonitis injury, so hopefully with another week of health and resting, hopefully he's back in this coming week. And then we had Rice 6 games of special, guys. So it's 5 more now. 1 down, so we have 5 more to go. So we're getting closer there. So
it's true.
Yeah. Well, look, man. Listen, everybody's have an opinion about it all and whatever's happening, man. Look, these guys, they're gonna be fine. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs. This is a little bump in the road. We know this. But what you do is you gear back up. Okay. You let this one go, learn from it, take it all in, get on yourself, be held accountable and responsible for things you didn't do right. Okay. Fix it and move on. We got a big one coming against Philly. These guys got to be ready for that. Okay, that's what's got to happen. So at a certain point, man, you get past the bickering part of it. You take the responsibility. It's on me. It's what it has to do, and you take stock of like everybody else around you. And so if you have to over communicate, so guys know exactly what it is, secondary wise, fine. Same thing in the wide receiver room. Okay, X is not going to be there. Rasheed Rice not going to be there. They're going to be, you know what they bring to the table. But you got veteran guys. I like Hollywood Brown. I like Juju. You know, I like Jalen Royals coming back. I like Tyquan Thornton. I like Brownlee. I like Nico Remigio. Shoot, let's utilize the tight ends even more, right? Travis Kelce, Noah Gray. Shoot, and we want to put in Robert Tonyan. Yes. Jared Wiley. Absolutely. We got weapons. We still got weapons. Rashard Smith. We still got weapons. We still got weapons. And so we talked about the versatility of Rashard Smith. He can do it all. He can do it all. He takes the role like we were talking about him, McCole Hardman and all those different things. Hey, next man up. That's what Donnie was talking about, right? This is what this league is all about. Somebody goes down, next man up. So
Agreed. Couldn't have said it better, JD. Noah John Marshall wants to ask us, what's the goal as far as record when Rice comes back? 3-3 would probably be realistic. I know, JD, you said 5-1. You said 5-1 or 4-2 by the time he gets back? I think the Ravens was your only loss.
Yeah, Ravens only loss. Yeah, shoot. Because when do we play Washington? What is that games?
That's game 8. That's week 8.
Okay, so yeah, 5-1.
So 4-2 then. Now with this loss then, right?
Oh, because the Ravens, right?
You think does that change things for you with that Baltimore game?
I do. I think it changed things. maybe you needed
you're exchanging the loss.
Yes, right? Yes. Maybe you needed a swift kick in the tail early.
No way.
I think that's what you needed, a swift kick early and say, you know what? We can still put this thing together. So we'll see.
I mean, look,
this is what guys are made of, man. This is what men are made of. These are champions. Look, they're world champions for a reason. Okay, they got a formula. They understand things. Teams like this just don't crumble. They don't. That's not.
Well, I wouldn't say losing to the Ravens to be 4-2 is. Oh, it's not crumbling.
No.
They still lose that game.
You could, absolutely. I'm saying a game like this may help you take stock earlier, right?
Yeah.
On things what you need to do. Okay, so
we probably would have been better off if we had a game like this in the middle toward the end of last season, actually.
Absolutely. You know, so those things like that, you're like, hey, cool. All right. Everybody didn't play well. Some play like dog doo-doo. We know that. Now we need to straighten this out. We know what the goal is. It's still the goal. We understand that. It's still the eye on the prize. We need to stay focused on those things, right? Handle the noise. When I had that right there, the last part, this is what the noise is. It's everything us, Chad, and everybody else who's coming on. Handle the noise. Look, and I love that we had other fans come in here, fan bases. Y'all are included in here. Please come in. Say your piece. Get your little clap in and all your little jokes out. Fine. You know, because the last I checked, a lot of those jokers that's in here that's coming here with all these little giggles and tee-hees and all these little jokes, y'all ain't won something in a long time. So, have at it. We're going to be good.
Yeah, and like someone said, last time we lost a season opener was that Thursday night game against the Detroit Lions, and what happened? We went on to win. I remember the media, all the media members on ESPN, FS1, the following like that next Friday, everyone was dogging us, saying, "Oh man, this team is done. There's no dynasty coming to Kansas City." So we've dealt with it before.
Yeah, come on, man, bring it.
I'm just glad tomorrow's Saturday, so all those shows are not going to be on.
That's true. And by then, this game becomes like a distant memory because of all the other games that are going to go on Sunday.
Someone else is going to probably have a really bad loss against a not playoff team, and they're going to have to overreact to that instead.
Yeah, I can already tell you what I think the Monday headline's going. Monday headline's going to be: is Baltimore and Buffalo? Is that the preview of the AFC Championship game? That's going to be the first one, and then second, are the Chiefs done? Will be the second topic. So that's
Herbert takes charge.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we hope everybody enjoys the weekend. I'm seeing a lot of people who are upset about this loss. Yes, it's okay to be upset about this. It's a team we love, and be upset about it. But don't let it stop you from having a good weekend this weekend. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy Sunday. We don't have to worry about games on Sunday. We already know what our outcome was. Just enjoy football on Sunday or Saturday, or don't enjoy football. Just have a good weekend. Don't worry about this. On Monday, we'll be right back here. JD will give us his grades for this, and then after Monday, we'll close the book and be on to Philadelphia for the Super Bowl rematch, guys. So enjoy the weekend. We'll see you guys back on here on Monday. JD, you want to say any parting words?
Hey, man, this is what it's all about, man. It's about team unity. Okay, and you look at the guy next to you, and you'll see what he's all about. And so you can get to the point where it's just plain game, and that could really start tearing you apart. Or you can take stock of it, take responsibility and accountability on the things that you need to do. You say to yourself, to each man, I'm going to get that much better, and I'm not as far along as I thought I was. So we're going to be fine. This is what it's all about, man. This is what the NFL is. It's not for the faint of heart. People want to be bickering and stuff like that. They like shows like this, but this team is a family, and they're going to be all right with it, and they'll figure it out. I promise you that. They'll figure it out. So with that being said, man, hey, listen, like they said, man, enjoy the weekend. Enjoy some football. Football is back, baby. Okay? So it wasn't what we wanted, but that's okay. They'll get it straight. With that being said, man, I'll see you all later. Like you said, Marcus, Teja, love you, brothers. On Monday, I'm going to have my grades. I'm going to go through this. I'm going to comb through this film, and I'm going to break it all the way down for each and every one of you all. So come out here. Come check it out, because I'm going to keep it 1,000. I will. So
as always, baby. As always.
Right. Go from there.
And shout out Taryn Young for the contribution to the channel earlier. I don't know if you're still on, Taryn, but we really appreciate that. Taryn said, I blame this game on coaching. Our coordinator got worked, in my opinion. A lot of people got worked in this game. It wasn't just one man or one coordinator, but a lot of people got worked.
Appreciate it, Taryn. Appreciate it, man. All
Appreciate it.
Y'all have a good weekend, man. Enjoy each other, man. Love each other the way you're supposed to. Take care. God bless. We will see you all on Monday.
Monday.
Right?
All right, guys.
Take it easy, guys. Have a good weekend, guys. Love y'all.
Yeah, love you guys. See you.
See you guys. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.